All right, fans. Our next guest can only be described as a winner and a leader. She's a three-time NWSL Shield winner, three-time NWSL Cup winner, two-time NWSL Best 11, first-time guest. This warrior wears number 7 and the captain's armband for your New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC. Welcome to the podcast, McCall Zerboni.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to do this interview because obviously you have a bunch of accomplishments, but your wealth of knowledge about the league, and I know there's so much I can learn from you.
That's sweet to
So,
say. Well, I'll pass on my knowledge as best I can. Hopefully, you give me some back. So,
indeed, we picked the perfect day to talk to you. I mean, as someone who was part of the leadership of crafting the first NWSL CBA, first, thank you for your leadership. We'll talk about your leadership a little bit more later. But however, a momentous morning, the US women's national team and US men's national team ratified a CBA that granted pay equity. As someone who's been in the trenches for so long, has been fighting this fight for so long, how does that make you feel personally? And then what does it mean for the current and future of women's soccer?
yeah, I can't take a ton of credit for the U.S. women's national team one. I'm
Mhm.
part of the case, but not near as much credit as those gals that have been working on it for a long, long time. First, it starts with an idea. Well, first, it starts with a little bit of anger, got to be honest. Come on, why are we not getting what we deserve? Then it comes up with an idea of how we're going to approach it and how we're going to achieve that. And then it takes incessantness and just pressing and not giving up and continuing, and even when people tell you no 1,000 times, just keep going. And we weren't going to settle until we got what we know we deserve, but it's not equal. It's late. Now they're just doing the thing that they should do. They're not doing anything above that. So it's how it should have been for a long time. So now we're finally equal, but we still have some making up to do.
You're a veteran of the sport, and there's not much you haven't seen in this league. At the heart of the NWSL is just pure, unadulterated chaos. And just when you think you've seen it all, something new appears. Like I remember last season, there was that Pride night that started on one day and finished on another.
Yeah.
And this year has continued that tradition. So let's talk real quickly about last Saturday. So, first, I hope everybody's okay and recovering well, but kind of walk us through the chaos of getting ready for a game, the thought process, then that whole thing. That must have been frustrating for you.
It's so funny you say that, Gary, because, going on 14 years pro, exactly how you said, you think you've seen it all, and then something else
Mhm.
comes up. So every preseason, I take like the largest deep breath, like heading into the season, knowing that, like, God is going to sprinkle something on me that I haven't done yet. So, humbles me quite well. In regards to Saturday, I got to be honest. I think Gotham as a club was very disappointed. It was our home opener. We're gearing and ready to rumble. We had a great week of training, despite that we had some illnesses and some injuries as well. We definitely thought that we were going to put on a good performance and take the 3 points. The up and down. So the best thing I could describe a game day is, especially when it's a 7 p.m. kickoff, is you have to peak at the right time. So you wake up and you're excited and, a little bit of like anxious, nervous jitterbugs, but you kind of have to just kind of suppress those and control those all through the time until that whistle blows at 7 p.m. When we find out at 4:30, 5 o'clock, when we're about to leave the stadium, that the game might not go off, we're just about to get in our hype, and we're building all our positive butterflies, right? And then it kind of crashes back down, and then you're like, well, wait, I got to go get a workout in to kind of equal, the load of a game day, because we've got to stay on game system. So there's just a million and one things that go through it. It's an up and down situation, but isn't the whole season anyway?
It certainly is. But so let's take a quick step back. So let's talk growing up Zerboni. When did your love for soccer start? And as I was doing doing my homework, your background is so interesting about your childhood and your family members and all that. And you have multiple family members. You have a twin sister. Tell us a little about when did your love for soccer start? And were the Zerbonis a soccer family?
Yeah, thanks. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. No, actually, my older brother, he was 2 years older than me at the time, and he was like my idol. I was a big tomboy, and so, wanted to be his best friend. I wanted to be liked by him. I wanted to do everything that he was doing. So at the time, I believe he was about 7. I was about 4 or 5, and he started playing soccer, just recreational, very casual. And I wanted to be like him. I would go to his games and kind of dribble and kick the ball on the sideline and try to practice to get good enough to, hopefully play soccer and, play with the boys too. Because at this point, they didn't really have, a girls' league. Just roughhoused with the boys on the street and practice and practice and practice. Then eventually I begged my mom to put me in soccer, and she's like, sure. So I played on an all boys team. I was the only girl on an all boys team my first soccer experience.
You're a twin sister, and she's also fitness ish.
Yeah. So then she started playing soccer about 2 years after me. And then we just became like the twin dynamic duo. She was a forward, I was a midfielder. I passed to her, she'd score, the whole deal. We ended up going to UCLA together and did that there. And then I ended up going pro, and she wanted to get into something else. And she took that energy into training others to be their best selves, mentally, physically, and emotionally. She'll do anything from yoga to high intensity interval training. I mean, she's a stud. She's more ripped than me and she's fitter than me. So she's great. She's cool.
Yeah. So it's always good to have that support system.
Yeah,
And the past couple of interviews we've done with the players, there's always been like that one person, like it was my older brother, it's your older brother, it was Paige's older brother, that you
sure.
kind of just sat on the sideline, played with the ball a little bit, and just that they're the ones who
Totally.
kind of, yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, it's always good to have that. You've played all over, but you found a home for yourself here in Gotham. This is a special group of players and coaches. So, was it like every day to go to work with these group of warriors?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I mean, every day I wake up just really counting my blessings that I live here. I work with these people that we're doing well, and we still have a lot more we could do. I think a person needs three things when they wake up every day: something to do, something to love, and something to look forward to. And I think my job right now encompasses most of those things at that time. Our locker room is great. We all really, really enjoy each other. I think that we know that we're not as good as we should be yet,
Mhm.
but that's what's exciting about Gotham is that we're growing every week, every day, every match day. And if people want to be a part of something that they're growing, and that's why I came here. I came here to help build a club, improve a club, make winners, be a winner here myself, challenge my leadership, put some more playoff belts on, and win some more trophies when it's not easy. I had to shake up the bit a bit, and still looking to get one with the Gotham name on it.
When as I was doing my homework, one word that pops up a lot when talking about you or anyone's talking about you is leadership. They all think you're a leader. And I think people have a misconception of what a captain does for a soccer team. They may think that, that you pump them up before the game and then that's it. But there's a lot more that goes into being a captain of a team with new players and all that. So give us what's your day to day with as a captain?
Yeah, I think a leader can come in many forms, and a lot of times that fits with the person's personality and also the way that they operate at their profession or their job. I'm lucky to have a great leadership group behind me. However, I'm a very vocal leader, but I work with my actions as well. So I'm loud, I'm boisterous, I yell, I'm intense, but I also care. I care about people, and I'm always viewing the scene and checking the mood and making sure every single one of my players from 1 to 26 is invested and committed and feeling well today. And got to put in time with everybody, and nobody's greater than anybody. And I think that's the greatest platform that I want to put as a leader is that our number 26 is, in my mind, possibly more important than our number one. And with that being said, you squish it all together, we're all equal. Everyone's important. Everyone should be heard. Everyone should be found. Everyone should be there. So I think for me, I like to walk the walk and talk the talk. So I really try to hold myself to a very high standard. And that way I can expect it of my teammates as well.
You lead by example. Gotham is a unique situation, but you've played with a lot of really good national team players. So how is it coming in as a leader with players that obviously just like you have played everywhere in the world, they've seen everything, they've done everything. How what's it like trying to not impose yourself, but to become a leader of a group of people with that much experience?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think it's the experience on the field, right? So they have experience with things that may have worked for them or worked at a
Mhm.
separate club or worked when they won or whatever. And it's also personalities. I think personalities, some people like it hot, some people like it cold, some people like it strong, some people like it soft. And I think, blending all of those things together is always a consistent challenge. And the one main thing that you have to achieve is understand that the group is greater than the one. And if you can get everyone to buy into that mentality, when you're always self-serving the team and serving yourself at the same time, but it's a sacrifice. You've got to make self-sacrifices for the greater the good of the team. And sometimes that's not a natural habit because especially when you're a major competitor and you're a ladder climber and you want to be your best, you're willing to step on anything in your way. So you have to have that presence of mind and that consciousness and be like, I don't need to step on my teammates. I need to step on myself that I was yesterday. I need to push myself that I was yesterday down and be better than I was then. Competing with yourself amongst competing with others, yet realizing your teammates are not your competitors. It's a very interesting blend. It's a thing about team professional sports that sometimes people don't understand that you're never ever ever going to be your best if your teammates are not their best as well.
And speaking of the team, Gotham has some talented young players on the roster. So what can you tell us about Taryn Torres, what she brings to the team, and how good she can be?
Yeah, she's a lovely girl. She's been a joy ever since coming here. She never complains. She shuts her mouth. She does her job. She's a bright future. She's very technical. She has experience at U23 level. She's left-footed. She's got a lot of qualities, and someone like me, I love seeing someone like that because I just relish the opportunity to help her and show her and help her blossom into the player that she should be and invest in players like that. I'm really excited to watch her career and just kind of tick it over and leave it to people like that. But she's a wonderful gal. And she has a really bright future, and she's only getting started. So
Yeah. And Gotham brought in two well respected players in Ashlyn and Allie. It seems they fit into the culture of Gotham pretty seamlessly. So, how's it been working with them this season?
yeah, I mean, what I've always loved about Ashlyn and Allie is they're very humble and down to earth people. They've been all over the world. They've won multiple championships all over the world. They've been to several clubs. I mean, but you can have such a real chat with them on anything at any point. They're generous. So that alone is leadership. That authenticity and that nobody is bigger than anybody. Like that is such a good energy to put amongst a group, and not only their qualities on the field, but their qualities as human beings is very, very helpful and impactful for me, especially as senior players. I really see eye to eye with them and the way they operate at work. So it's great for me.
And what other young players have really impressed you so far this season on Gotham?
Well, I don't want to give away all our secrets, but we have a lot of pace and power. And honestly, all the young players that we've brought on have already helped us and are going to continue to help us more. We have a wonderful coaching staff, very, very good, and they're gonna get the best out of those players this year. And it's a tough league. It's really tough for youngsters and first year players to have an immediate impact in this league. It's pacey, it's powerful, it's fast, it's dynamic, it's a really tough league to come into, especially that jump from college to pro. It's more massive than people understand. So our players are fitting in well and adapting well, and it's been a joy to watch them.
So this is again a very talented team that hasn't quite had the finished product on the field. Like what is something that the team is working on to get better at?
Yeah, I just think solidifying our identity and our philosophy and the way that we want to play. It's more or less flexible depending on the opponent. It's just adding in those new pieces, and obviously a fairly new coaching staff in some ways as well, and getting everyone on the same page and just really, really honing in and stamping our identity and knowing individuals as well. Like, does this person want the ball at their feet or do they want it over the top? Are they tend to dribble the ball with their left foot, right foot? It's just getting to know each other in that way, and that'll take some time. Mostly comes with competition, competitive games, but also we have a very, very competitive training environment and very intense trainings, and that's why we're growing so much each week because we're training really well.
All right, so we did some a little bit of some fun questions to break up a little bit. Simple answers. You have to let one Gotham player style you for a month. Who would it be?
Mandy Freeman.
This is definitely a good answer.
Yeah.
If you were to let one Gotham player pick your Spotify playlist for a month, who would it be?
Paige.
Another good one. Okay. So who is your traveling roommate?
Amani.
Ah, right. Yes. And you get your number called. How do you decide who gets the captain's armband?
You mean like when I head off the pitch?
Yeah.
So technically, Amani is my co-captain.
Okay.
We do most of that together. So automatically, I go to give it to Amani. If she's not on the pitch as well, then I'll probably give it to one of our next best leaders or somebody that's in our leadership group, and that I know will stay on the pitch for the rest of the game, so we're not passing it around like a hot potato.
Sure, sure. If there was a player, what was the first player you got starstruck by?
So honestly, when I first was drafted in 2009 to the LA Soul, it's arguably one of the best rosters to date ever put on
Mhm.
paper. A lot of people talk about that. I didn't even know who half the people were. I was in college, playing
Mhm.
locally and here, and I'd never been with the national team or anything like this, right? So 80% of my own roster, I didn't know who they were. But I'm telling you, Gary, like within the first week of being on the pitch with these people, I was like, they're soccer gods. They're perfect. They're so good. Like I was blown away. And that's anyone from, Marta, Ali Wagner, Shannon Box, Han Duan, I mean, Camille Abilene. I mean, we had you name it. Karina LeBlanc was our goalkeeper. It was a fantastic time. So I wasn't necessarily starstruck. I don't really idolize human beings. I think we're all from the same kind. But for me, their talent level and the experience, and how far ahead of me they were, I was just like, "What? Look, oh, you better get to work now."
Yeah. Now you're living in New York. So what is your favorite thing to do in New York on your days off?
Yeah, I really enjoy the area. New Jersey and New York are a ton of fun for me. Both have their individual beautiful things. I mean, the great thing about Manhattan, especially, is you can literally just walk around. You don't even need to go in anywhere, and it's like you're getting a free entertainment. So that's
Mhm.
always fun. I love vintage stores. So if I'm gonna pop in somewhere, I'll go somewhere that's super old, hand me down, one of a kind of thing. I love this place in Midtown. It's a Manchester United bar. That's like my favorite team since I was a little girl. So sometimes on match days, I'll go into this bar and it's just the scene is just, it's like a pub when you're in England kind of feeling. So, like, that's one of my favorite things to do as well. And I'm an Adidas athlete. So, going to the flagship store on Fifth Ave and it's 3 stories and just walking around and just being like, all right, yep, yep, yep. Just stuff like that. So,
Who is the best supporter group in soccer?
honestly, when I first got here, it was walking into 2020, which was the
Mhm.
pandemic. So I didn't get a chance to see Cloud9 like for myself, like them being my supporters. Of course, I've heard their lovely hate when I was on the other side, but I didn't know what it was like for them to be the 12th man on your side. And until things opened up in 2021, like that really opened my eyes to it's just so tri-state, so Jersey. The people here are so passionate and so real and so straightforward, and they're educated and they know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. They're loyal. For me, Cloud9 has been a really joyful experience to be working for them, because that's how I feel. I feel like they're my employer. I'm working for them. I want to battle for them. I want to impress them. I want to get points for them. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
What is a success for this team this season?
I mean, I think it's fair to say that we can win the championship this year. I think last year they might have been a little ambitious with all the changes and things we had to deal with. But now, it's no excuses for us. We have a good enough roster on paper. We've got a good enough staff. We're all settled in. For me, I'm going for gold. But first action first. We got to get points. We got to pick up points when we're at home and away, and get into the playoffs, and then it's there for there.
Yeah. And what is like your personal goals? What are you working on?
Thank you. Yeah, me, I consider myself a winner. I've made the playoffs, I think, 11 out of the 14 years that 10 out of 13 years that I've played. Only missed it 3 times. Those years were very, very sad for me.
Yeah.
I did not like that. Um, so for me, making the playoffs, I want to become this 2022 roster, be the most wins that Sky Blue Gotham have ever had in a season. I think we could break that record this year. So I want to do that. And I think that naturally will get us into the playoffs. And I want to win a championship. I want to win the league and I want to win the championship. And I don't think those are unrealistic goals. And if they are, so be it. Call me crazy, but that's my dream, and I'm gonna wish to make it come true. So
And last question. So, what is it like playing in a place like RBI?
yeah, I mean the stadium it's really magnificent. I think it will be better when we pack it. To be honest, we haven't really had that experience yet. Be it COVID, be it whatever the challenges have been, but it's a really really great soccer stadium. The way it's built, every seat is kind of intimate. We can interact with the fans if we need to. The pitch is perfect. The locker room is great. We have everything we need there. It's also very accessible on the PATH train or from wherever you are in New Jersey or New York, and we just really need some people to come out there and support us and see what we do. And yeah, it's been good. I love it.
Yeah. You heard the captain. You got to show up, guys. All right. McCall, I got to be honest. Like, again, I told you earlier, this was going to be the hardest interview I've had to prepare for just because you're so multifaceted and you've accomplished so much. Again, I do my homework, and every article I read opened up so many more questions in my head. Like, now I have to know about that too. It's really hard focusing an interview when you have so much to want to talk about. So I hope you come back. You're a great guest. And I can't wait till we talk again. And I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And we really are such a special group. So any chance I get to talk about them or highlight us, and thank you for what you do and your passion. It's exuding through this microphone to me. So thank you, and hopefully I run into you in person sometime soon.
Absolutely. I will see you hopefully Sunday.
All right.
All right. So, everybody, this was a special interview for our 1 year pod anniversary. Ruby and I will be back after the break to talk about what an amazing experience this has been. We will cover our favorite moments, successes, and the mistakes we've made so far. So, Gotham returns to Red Bull Arena on Sunday at 5 p.m. We are ready for this matchup against Racing Louisville. Are you ready, McCall?
So ready. Congrats on your anniversary too.
Thanks. All right. Let's go.